True Detective Season 1 is the greatest season on television ever made. It's not a series, it's more like an 8-hour-long movie. It's a testament to the brilliance of the production team and their dedication to the craft. Unlike other TV shows that switch directors and the writers every episode, HBO made a smart decision to stick with one director and one writer, Cary George Fukunaga and Nick Pizzolatto. This decision helped keep things consistent, from the writing, cinematography, to the overall tone, making True Detective feel like one big, immersive film rather than a series. One of the most compelling aspects of True Detective is its plot, specifically how it unravels its mysteries. Unlike procedural cop shows where each episode wraps up neatly, True Detective plays a long game, dedicating all 8 episodes to a single case. Each episode brings Rust and Maddie one step closer to the truth, but at the same time, the case becomes more complex and layered. The way the show feeds you just enough information to keep you hooked while holding back key details is masterful. Foreshadowing and cryptic clues are carefully planted, challenging you to piece the puzzle together. If you pay attention, the experience is rewarding. On top of that, its non-linear storytelling adds another layer of mystery. In True Detective, the narrative constantly shifts between 3 timelines: 1995, 2002, and 2012. The story begins with Roscoe and Maddie Hart being interviewed by 2 detectives. Initially, the true purpose of these interviews is unclear, but as the story goes on, it becomes evident that they suspect Russ's involvement in the murders, and they are building a case against him. Although we know Russ has nothing to do with those murders, his drastic transformation casts a lingering doubt. His disheveled looks and more cynical personality make us question what happened in those missing years. Like this, the fragmented narrative keeps the story engaging and unpredictable. If True Detective were told in a linear, chronological way, much of the mystery and intrigue would be lost. Furthermore, True Detective isn't just about a well-crafted murder mystery. It's about watching 2 men, Russ Cole and Maddie Hart, deal with their flaws and grow in the process. Russ Cole is a highly intelligent detective with a keen intuition. His meticulous attention to detail and deep understanding of criminal psychology allow him to see patterns that others might miss. But his solitary nature and nihilistic monologues make him an enigmatic figure. In contrast, Maddie Hart is more grounded and relatable. He presents himself as a traditional family guy with a charming personality, but beneath that facade, he is deeply flawed, selfish, insecure, and short-tempered. Russ is cold and detached, while Maddie is emotional and social. Their conflicting worldviews and personalities often lead to clashes, but they also balance each other out. Maddie's social skills and conventional methods complement Russ's intuitive, unorthodox approach, making them a highly effective team. And despite their differences, they share one trait: moral flexibility. They don't hesitate to bend the rules or cross the line for the sake of justice. Their sense of justice is not about following the law, but about their own personal moral code. Their off-the-book approach highlights one of the show's main themes. The world needs bad men to keep the other bad men from the door. When they get a lead on Reggie Ledoux, Russ knows playing by the rules won't cut it. He goes undercover with a biker gang tied to Reggie Ledoux, fully aware of the risks and dangers involved. His years of experience as an undercover agent come into play, helping him connect with the guy who has the information. However, there's a catch. Russ has to participate in the robbery to get it. Then comes the famous robbery scene. It is unbelievable. They showed this 6-minute-long scene in one take, without any cuts, from this moment to this moment. How did they pull it off? The coordination between actors, stunt performers, extras, and the camera crew had to be flawless. It made the scene even more raw, chaotic, and tense, building tension to the encounter with Reggie Ledoux. In any other show, this would be the climax, but in True Detective, it's just the midpoint. The midpoint in storytelling is crucial. It prevents a story from sagging by changing its direction dramatically. In True Detective, the Reggie Ledoux red herring is a perfect midpoint because it subverts expectations, deepens the mystery, and marks the beginning of Rust and Maddie's fallout. The emotional and psychological toll of the investigation is another compelling aspect of the show. It intertwined their personal struggles with the investigation, creating a deeply resonant story. In 2002, Russ stumbles upon new information and realizes Ledoux wasn't the real killer, growing more and more obsessed with the case. Meanwhile, Maddie struggled with domestic issues and battles his own demons, infidelity, and his anger management issues. Russ chases new leads, isolating himself, while Marty indulges in an extramarital affair, falling back into his old patterns. As they spend less time together and clash more intensely, the rift between them grows. Their long-shown relationship finally ends in a violent fight, triggered by Maggie's revenge. This is where the flashbacks end, and we're back in 2012. This is a perfect transition. It sets up their long-awaited reunion when the anticipation for it reaches its peak and moves seamlessly into the final act. Despite everything that happened and not having spoken in a decade, their dynamic remained the same, bickering like an old married couple. And Russ asks Marty to work with him on one last case. Marty isn't on board for obvious reasons, but eventually he gives in. With Marty's connections, they gain access to old case files and go through them, hoping to find new leads. One thing leads to another. They discover that their former colleague was involved in the cover of Mary Fontenot's disappearance. And then they interrogate him, the classic illegal way. While Russ has always been a lead detective, solving most of the cases, this time it's Marty who cracks it. He simply wonders, why green ears? He guesses that the spaghetti monster they are chasing might have painted the greenhouse in Neerath. His instincts are right. He did paint the house. By tracing tax records, they finally track down Errol Childress. The final showdown is excruciatingly suspenseful and tense. When they arrive at Childress' residence, Russ instinctively knows, this is it, this is a place. While Marty calls for backup, Russ finds Childress and gives chase. With a geographical advantage, Childress lures Russ into the trap, but Russ continues to chase him alone. Deep into Carcosa, Russ meets Yellow King, and then sees a vision caused by neural damage. I found this genius. It ties its recurring hallucinations into the final fight, giving Childress an opening without diminishing Russ' strength or intelligence. With a knife in his stomach, he fights back, headbutting to break free. And Marty comes in clutch, distracting Childress, and Russ finishes them off. As Russ passes out, bleeding, Marty screams for help. From the moment they arrive at the crime scene of Dora Lang's murder, the tone is eerie and unsettling, as if a dark miasma is hanging over the show. But their victory brings a sense of peace. And the final conversation between Russ and Marty offers a gleam of hope. Throughout the series, Russ maintains his stoic exterior with nihilistic monologues, showing no vulnerability. But in his final moment, he breaks down in tears, explaining how he felt his daughter's presence when he was unconscious. Marty, who used to be annoyed by his ramblings, listens with care and empathy. As much as they bicker and fight, there's a mutual trust and respect between them. Their shared experiences have forged a genuine, unspoken connection. Russ' final line, "Light's winning," is a perfect, poignant ending to a story about facing the darkest parts of humanity. Despite its grim themes, True Detective leaves us with hope, not just in solving the case, but in the friendship between Russ and Marty.